over the next 5 days that the kids are not in school, I gave them 2 homework assignments, a little more problems than normal for homework, but they do have a couple days and I'd really like to see them practicing some of these decimal skills. The first homework, they're doing 4.4. They're going to get a whole number and be asked to multiply by decimal, but they are asked to use the expanded form. This is partial products. It's very important that they are able to break apart numbers. So how they would do this, they would take 37 and put it as 30 and 7. And then they would take 9.5, 9 and 5/10, and put it as 9 and the 5/10 over here. You probably have seen this strategy being used. It's just new with decimals. And this actually can be quite a challenging skill for the kids. So then they would just fill out each individual component in the middle. So 9 times 3 is 27, and we added on the 0, or you could have thought of it as 9 groups of 30. 9 groups of 7, we put 63. We did 3 groups of 5 was 15, but we have to add on that 0, or 30 groups of 5/10 or 5 groups of 30. So, but this is where things get hard because, yeah, 30 times 5 is 150. We have to put our decimal location in right before the 10th spot. So I always told the kids to multiply without thinking about the decimal and then add it in. And here, 7 times, we're thinking of this as just 5. We're not going to worry about the decimal till the end. So 7 times 5 is 35, and we have that 1 decimal placement we have to put in our answer. So just reminding your child at home to multiply as if the decimal's not there and put it in at the end will really help them if they're struggling. Then, once they've done that, they are supposed to pull out each individual answer. As you can see, we had 270, 63, 15, and 3 and 5/10. This is also a very difficult concept for the kids because a lot of times when they're putting down their numbers, they will not align them correctly. So this 3.5, they may accidentally write it like this or put it in the wrong placement, and then it will throw off their addition. So it will really help to remind them to put the 1s in the 1s place, the 10s in the 10s place, the 10s in the 10s place. And if your student is really struggling, you can, or your child, you can even draw some lines for them and kind of separate them by columns. Anything would be fine. And then I always told them once they have everything aligned correctly and all of their numbers in the correct column, then they should fill in those empty locations with zeros. And I always told them to use a separate color because it really helps them to separate what they're using as a strategy versus the actual number. And once they do that, now I'm going to add a decimal here so they don't think of it as 2,700. You know, they want to think of it as 270. And then they'll know that if they just add then just normally, they end up with 351 and 5/10. So that is the way that 4.4 wants them to do it. But I did tell the kids before they do this, maybe take 37 times 9 and 5/10 and put it off to the side and ignore the decimal at the beginning and think of it as 37 times 95. Just multiply it, basic algorithm, basic knowledge here, and then at the end, just know that they have to take that 1 decimal slot and put it in their answer, and then they can match their basic algorithm multiplication to their expanded form multiplication. Because we need to know that they can use the expanded form strategy, but it may be helpful for them to do the basic algorithm first and then set up this. That way they can compare their answers. But this is a difficult skill for the kids because the decimal placement and then aligning the numbers correctly. The other homework assignment they have is very basic. It is, I believe it's 4.7, which is just standard algorithm, but with decimals. So 3.1 times 2.7. or 3 and 1/10 times 2 and 7/10. And I told the students to think of it as 31 and 27 because that is their basic knowledge. They know how to multiply with the basic algorithm. So if they just do 31 times 27 just naturally without even thinking about the decimal, they're going to get 837. Then at the very end, after they've done the basic algorithm, then they can worry about the decimal placement. And here we have 1/10 hop over, and here we have another one. So altogether, we have 2 slots that we need to go into our answer, which makes it 8 and 37/100. The other thing I talked to them was just about reasonability. So if you do 3 times 2, which are just your whole numbers, you get 6. And is their answer pretty close to that? Because if we have decimals, they're not really going to change it too drastically. So that way, if they accidentally place their decimal here, they'll know that 3 times 2 is 6, and that's not really reasonable then to say that my answer is going to be 83. Because a decimal doesn't change it too much because that's just a piece of a number. So always have them multiply the whole numbers and see if it's close to what they're getting as a reasonability check. So this will be a homework assignment and this will be a homework assignment. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me, and I'm looking forward to our parent conferences this week. Thank you.